skills has no gender. Competency has no gender. You can do whatever you want if you got the skills, the abilities, the wish. You can develop yourself, whatever your gender.
Welcome to a new episode of Let's Turn the Tide by Veolia Near and Middle East. I'm your host, Nadine Zidani, sustainability expert, entrepreneur, and the founder of Mina Impact. Today we have a special episode for you in celebration of International Women's Day. So it's a great opportunity to delve into gender equality in our region. For this special episode, I have a fantastic guest who has been championing diversity and inclusion for over 20 years in Europe and the Middle East, bringing a unique perspective to our conversation. Sébastien Dorne is the HR director of Veolia for Africa and the Middle East. Welcome to the podcast, Sébastien.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So, Sébastien, you're kind of wearing three hats today on this podcast because you're a father of three daughters. You're the HR director, as I said, for Africa and Middle East at Veolia, and you're a male leader. How do you think it shaped your, perspective on gender equality, especially in the workplace?
Maybe I'm more convinced and convincing. As I truly live this matter in the day-to-day, and there is no situation without having this in mind. And whatever, when we are dealing with recruitment, we are dealing with promotion, we are dealing with salary increase, we are dealing with sexism and relationship and so on. For sure, I got this specific mindset and responsibility to ensure that everyone knows where is the line.
Now, we had this conversation before because I was very interested by your background because you have over 20 years of experience in HR and you've been, at the forefront of, gender equality and women's empowerment. So was there a pivotal moment in your career that inspired you to become an advocate for women's advancement in the workplace?
I remember when it was really at the beginning of my career, I was like maybe 23, 24 years old, very young HR operational, and maybe being a little bit naive on the world I had around me. And I was proposing a female leader for a position in the waste management, and it was to hold the position of waste collection manager. A position was to lead 80 males, driver, reapers for municipal waste collection. And I proposed a very talented woman, great ambition, great skills, great behavior, great leadership, and really willing to learn. And she was, for me, the perfect one. So I proposed, as usual, 2-3 candidates, final candidates, but she was ranked number one from far. It was absolutely no question mark on her ability to get this position. And then my managers came to me and things like, are you crazy? With a lady in this position, it's to lead males, industrial and tough environment. And it's at this very moment that I really discovered, that I really faced the unconscious bias, that for them should have position for male and other for females. And that they had this decision-making process, thinking with some categories dedicated to every gender. I fought for this. This lady, Marie, took this position. She was a 35 years old engineer, and she wrapped it. She made amazing job, health and safety, management, operational excellence, and so on. She wrapped it. But I discovered how it was in the decision-making process of male managers to consider that the opportunities should not be for everyone.
And you're in environmental services, so this is, a sector that is still kind of very male dominated. So just also for, perspective, for our audience.
Yeah, in the environmental sector, we are dealing with industrial workers, where even decades ago we were telling, no, we can't get women because we would have to accommodate a specific toilet and showers and so on. So maybe don't go there. No.
So even the workplace was not ready to welcome women.
Not ready at all. Not ready at all.
Oh
and
my
it
God.
was taking the excuse of the logistic to say, no, let's do it easier and just please hire a male. But no, it should not be an excuse for this. Okay, you were not ready. You have to be, and you have to adapt. On the same side, I mean, we have to work on the logistic, we have to work on the mindset, we have to make the male prepared to invite and to welcome, and it should not be against their will. Otherwise, it would be very few women against a big population waiting for the first failure. So really, we have to create the mindset that everyone is willing to work with the other. And on the forefront of this environmental services, having a lot of engineers and so on, we have to work on the education to let understand to the girls that they have the rights. They have to fix their own limits, and it's not the other to fix the limits for you. So as a girl, if I want to be an engineer, be an engineer. I'm a girl, I want to be a mechanical, be a mechanical. You want to work in the medical, paramedical, engineering, construction, do it. Go up to your limit, not the limit others would tell you you have. You are the only one, whether you are a male or a female, you are the only one knowing and being able to push up to your limits. Skills has no gender. Competency has no gender. You can do whatever you want. If you got the skills, the abilities, the wish, you can develop yourself, whatever your gender.
And what I like in your path, Sébastien, is that you worked in Europe and you also have extensive experience in the Middle East. So I want to ask you, how is gender equality and women's empowerment approached differently, perhaps here, and how has it evolved over time?
It's I worked around 10 to 15 years in Europe, and I've been in the Middle East since 2011. What is amazing, it's a big chance, to witness what is happening in the Middle East. And in fact, in 2 decades, you get the opportunity to witness what happened in Europe in 5 to 6 decades. And for instance, I was working in Saudi Arabia, which is not the country having the best reputation regarding the female rights at the workplace. I hired and I proposed to hire a female for a leadership position. It was a position of performance director in the holy city of Medina in Saudi Arabia, in a para-public environment where we had absolutely not a single woman at the workplace. It was 5 years ago. And the client and the partner accepted the deal and to say, yeah, this lady is really the one perfectly fit for the position. She's very promising. Already in this experience, you can note that even in Saudi Arabia, in Medina, I didn't have the unconscious bias that I had 23 years ago with Mary saying, no, it's not a position and a place for a lady. They were volunteer to go and to say, okay, this would be a first, but we have to start. 6 months after, Zarina, who was this lady holding the position of performance director, succeeded to convince that diversity was really a plus for the creativity and the efficiency of the business. And in 6 months, we hired, with the support of the government, with the support of the universities, with the support of the partner, 60 ladies in this company in Medina, and we created a community to ensure that they had the proper safe environment to develop themselves and to be part really of the performance of the company. It happens in 6 months. In Europe, it took me 10 years.
I think it's a fantastic example of, how things move so fast in the Middle East, especially for people who, don't know anything about the region and have a lot of stereotypes, about especially women. That's an amazing example, because you don't see it only, in gender equality and women's empowerment, but yeah, things move so fast. And an initiative, going, against, the traditional mindset and coming up, with a different idea, an innovative idea, and seeing things out of the box could lead to a big change.
Yeah. And here in the Middle East as well, so knowing from when we are starting, we had to create as well a community of my female leaders in the Middle East. And in Veolia, the company I'm working for, we created Haya community from Turkey to Lebanon to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, UAE. We got now 80 female leaders working from us, and we work with them to develop the female leadership. And it's easy in the Middle East to do this. And we had the idea to create this Haya community working on the sourcing of profile, development of profiles, combination between male and female at the workplace. And in 6 months, we had the decision, the budget, the first launch, and the first workshop arriving for them. 6 months again.
And you mentioned the Haya community. That's perhaps one of the tools, and it's very interesting, to build this type of community within organizations. But I want to ask you what other, tools or, key management practices you've implemented and have been successful in your organization to, advance, gender equality and support, women to thrive in the workplace.
Again, let's take the life cycle, and we said, okay, we get to address in the education. And we have been, in the countries we operate, more and more involved with every Ministry of Education to ensure that we were there as well at their side in the selection process, to ensure that when we are dealing with the enrollment of engineers school, they would consider as well male and females, that we go and demonstrate to young people in elementary school what the job we are doing to ensure that even girls and boys can dream to work in our field, and that would not be on the unconscious bias of the society to say, no, these jobs are for boys only. We bring as well girls of 8, 12, 16 years old to our job and to say, do you see yourself at this place? Yeah, it's a fun job. It has an impact. It's a meaningful job. You want it? You just have to choose it. At the workplace, then, we have to implement policies to ensure that even if I'm not right in the office where the interview would occur, that everyone is following the rules, that there is no unconscious bias in the selection, that female are every time proposed to every position, that the evaluation is fair, that there is never any sexism in the approach, in the wording, in the attitude, whatever at the selection phase or after selection where they are part of the company. To work with male, to train them, and we trained everyone on the unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is not something that you can erase. It's part of us. It's part of our education. It's part of the society. We cannot fight and erase the unconscious bias. We have to make people aware that they have it and that they should take it apart when they take the decision. So we train.
All of them, it's mandatory.
All of them. All of them are trained on the proper behavior, are trained on the unconscious bias to ensure that they would be not a male or a female doing the decision. They would be a job holder. And I'm here to serve the company. I'm here to make the most efficient combination and not to take the decision with my unconscious bias. And it's as well a training to all my employees on the fight against sexism, sexual harassment, because I need to ensure and to offer a safe environment. I need male to welcome female at the workplace, and I need female willing to come to our place because they would know this place is very safe for me, and I would be there because I'm the best. I would be there because I can develop myself. I will be there because I can be happy at the workplace and offer the best of my competencies. If we succeed to do this, they will come to me. They will stay. They will develop their skills and they will offer the best of the potential to the company. So from the education to the selection to the decision making to the working atmosphere.
Yeah, creating an environment where basically they can thrive.
Yeah.
Last question, Sébastien. This podcast is especially for International Women's Day, and the theme for this year is for all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment. So what key advice would you give to both women and men watching this podcast to accelerate action?
First, I would say it's even something strange to speak about the female rights. The rights are the same for everyone. Just consider you a male. If 20 years back you were told that you could not be fit for a position because you got only ladies around you, and maybe around your 50, your prostate would bring some issues and that's not good to bring you into the company. Maybe you would feel it shocking. But this is the environment we created for ladies from the past 6 decades. So just put you in the other boots, and do you feel it normal or not if you were living this bias and so on. So please, there is no right for female or male. This is a right of everyone. For female, I would say dream. Dream. You got the right to dream. Speak up. Speak up. You are not anymore in a world where you are just tolerated. You got your value. You got your skills. You got the same potential as others. So speak up.
Amazing. I think it's a beautiful message.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sébastien. It's very eye-opening actually to have a conversation with a man. And I think I realized that this is my first time having, a deep conversation about gender equality and empowerment with a man. And it also helps us, women to see things, differently and, open our minds. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me and giving me the chance to give this message.
If you found this conversation meaningful, please share it with your friends, your colleagues, your family members, and help us accelerate action this International Women's Day. Don't forget to subscribe to Veolia Near and Middle East YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the podcast platforms. You search for Let's Turn the Tide and you can subscribe. We release 1 episode per month, so subscribe to be notified of our new episodes. And see you soon.